Greenbaywacky. I do news, comedy skits, how-to videos, original music videos, and fun and interesting live streams. You gotta go to my playlist. Greenbaywacky is on all social media platforms. Support me by subscribing, becoming a monthly member, go to my About page for merchandise, or simply share my videos. It's Greenbaywacky. So I've been looking at all the craziness going on in the world, and I realized that eventually myself, you, all of us are going to have to make a choice and decide what side we're on. The side of good or the side of evil. And what it seems like has been going on is a lot of people can't seem to see the difference. They're unable to see that they think they're on the winning side. They think they're on the good side, but they're actually on the evil side. I'm going to show a plot summary for one of my favorite television shows, The Twilight Zone, episode 30 in season 3, called 4 o'clock. I would encourage you to watch this episode. Now, I can't play the episode, obviously, but I think I can read the plot summary from Wikipedia without a problem. But I just want you to ponder that thought, because I've seen so many people lately that have cheered on the silencing of people, that have cheered on governments taking over the world, taking over their people, individual rights being smashed, your fear being projected onto other people that they have to share that same fear, and you get the point. So you have to take a real good look in the mirror and ask yourself what side you're on. So let's read this. The opening narration, that's what Rod Serling did, went like this. I will not try to be as good as Rod Serling. He was the best. That's Oliver Krangle, a dealer in pestilence and poison. He'd rather arbitrarily chosen 4 o'clock as his personal Gotterdammerine. And we're about to watch the metamorphosis of a twisted fanatic, poisoned by the gangrene of prejudice, to the status of an avenging angel, upright and omniscient, dedicated and fearsome. Whatever your clock says, it's 4 o'clock, and wherever you are, it happens to be the Twilight Zone. Dun dun dun, dun 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 dun. Okay, so here we go. Oliver Krangle is a hate-ridden fanatic who lives in an apartment with his parrot Pete. He maintains records of people he believes to be evil. He's convinced himself that so-called evil people, the communists, subversives, thieves, murderers, are engaged in a worldwide conspiracy and have taken over Washington. He makes phone calls to them and their employers at all hours. He writes letters regarding their actions, demands their prompt firing, and threatens to involve higher authorities if they do not comply. Unsatisfied with the results of his anonymous calls and letters, he searches for a more effective way to eliminate evil from the world. He settles on the idea of shrinking all evil people to 2 feet tall. Throughout the episode, Krangle's parrot Pete periodically calls out "nut," asking for a nut to eat, which Krangle gives him, not realizing that Pete is unintentionally calling Krangle a nut. His landlady, Mrs. Williams, arrives, who he berates and treats horribly to make her leave. Mrs. Lucas also comes to Krangle's apartment and pleads for Krangle to leave her husband, a doctor, alone. Krangle is convinced that because her husband was unable to save the life of a woman in the ER who died from her injuries, that he is a murderer and evil. Due to Krangle's letter writing to the hospital, her husband has started to feel extremely guilty for the woman's death, and Mrs. Lucas wants Krangle to stop. Krangle simply believes that those people are also evil. Mrs. Lucas leaves, realizing Krangle is insane. Krangle calls a number of government agencies, and Agent Hall of the FBI is sent to investigate. Krangle tells him of his plan to shrink every evil person at 4 o'clock that afternoon through sheer force of will, mentioning his belief about a global conspiracy involving the evil people of the world. He also mentions that he has tried such feats before, trying to turn wheels into triangle shapes, due to believing that evil uses public transportation to move. He believes that by shrinking all evil people to 2 feet tall, that they will be unable to carry on their everyday lives and eventually become extinct. Hall asks Krangle if he has ever had any psychiatric help, and tells Krangle they do not need his kind of help because they have the law. Hall says that both support and help in upholding the law are appreciated, but what Krangle is doing instead is interference. Krangle accuses him of being in on a conspiracy. As Hall leaves, Krangle screams at him that he too will be 2 feet tall in just 20 minutes. When 4 o'clock rolls around, Krangle is horrified to find that he himself has been shrunk to 2 feet tall. He struggles in vain to get up his windowsill, and one last time, Pete calls out the word nut. And in closing, Rod Serling says this: at 4 o'clock, an evil man made his bed and lay in it. A pot called a kettle black. A stone thrower broke the windows of his glass house. You look for this one under F for fanatic and J for justice in the Twilight Zone. Dun dun dun, dun 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 dun. Sooner or later, you're going to have to look in the mirror and have a talk with yourself. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I've seen a lot of people lately in the name of righteousness imposing their will on people, and a lot of the things I've seen lately, to me, are evil. So you have to ask yourself, what side are you on? Again, I've seen people cheer as people are removed from social media, cheer as people lose their houses, cheer as people lose their jobs, cheer as the government forces their will on people in unlawful manners. Sooner or later, you're going to have to look in the mirror, and sooner or later, you may find you're going to be shrunk to 2 feet tall.